Stage 42 will complete the rear suspension, and in this stage you get the steering tie rod and the front and rear stabilizer bars, the rear one being this one with the curved bars on the end. You also get a thermal control switch as well, and some various screws which you may use in this stage or keep for future. Now familiarise yourself with the rear stabilizer bar. It has a curve which is going to be going downwards, so this would be the top of the bar, this would be the underside, and these parts here would face to the rear of the vehicle when installed. For the next part of the assembly, you're going to be fitting the rear stabilizer this way around, but you need to thread the end through this small gap here in the chassis. If I can just point to it with the screwdriver here. So just this gap here. It's quite tricky to get in there, but basically you're going to be taking the side that's going to go to the right and fit that in first, and then try and thread that through until it comes out the other side. When you've threaded that through, this is how it should look. You've got the curve facing downward and the two holes facing the rear of the car. If you find it a struggle getting the end of the stabilizer through the gap, you can loosen these two screws here and lift this part of the chassis up to make more room in the gap, and then reassemble this part of the chassis once the stabilizer is through. The chassis is now turned over, so this is the underside, and you're going to put a type H screw into this hole in the lower arm, so it's the underside of the lower arm. Just fit that into there like that, and then that is going to screw into the stabilizer bar, and then do the same for the other side. That's how it should look when it's fitted. Next, take the left rear wheel and drive shaft and fit this end of the drive shaft into this hole here in the differential, with the hose facing forward on the vehicle. Just push that into place like that. Then turn the assembly over and line up the hole in the wheel hub with the two holes in the lower suspension arm, so that they all line up like this, and then secure that with a type Y screw. Then turn the assembly over again, and where the upper suspension arm fits over the hub hole, secure that with a type X screw. So you're looking at this hole here, and that's how the left assembly should look when the two screws are in place, and the whole thing should still move like this. Then do all that for the right hand side as well. When you've put the 4 screws into the rear suspension arms to hold on the wheels and drive shaft, you can test the suspension by pressing down on the chassis like this, and it should move freely. If it doesn't move freely, you can loosen 1 or 2 of the screws slightly until it does. That's how it should look. Now take the steering tie rod and the thermo control switch, and you're going to be fitting this to these 2 pins on the control rod. One's a large pin and one's a small pin, so you can't get this backwards really, so just fit it over and squeeze it into place. If it's too loose, you can put a bit of adhesive on there to hold it in place. To finish up on stage 42, take the chassis again, and you're going to be fitting the remaining 2 springs to the front of the chassis. So the hexagon part will fit up into the hexagon of the chassis, and then secure that with a type U screw using the cross wrench. And then do the same for the other side. And that completes stage 42 of the build. Any screws or parts left over, just bag them up and mark them with the stage number to be used later in the build.